Hey everyone, Dr. Joseph coming here for our last session together in our study on leading change. And so excited about this and really going to try and take today's discussion and apply it into our individual lives as much as possible. And so if you kind of just think through a little bit of what we've been doing, is we've been kind of talking through just the elements of change, why we need change, all those things we talked through last week of just kind of introducing a little bit of this double loop learning method. And once again, this is one method. There's a lot of different methods out there for change, but really, I hope you see there's some of the same elements that are involved in each one of these. And what I want to do, you could easily take last week's discussion and apply that into a corporate type of setting. But I really just wanted to kind of focus for this last session on you as the individual, your personal application of change. And so that's why I've titled this last session. So let's jump in here with the content. Okay, so as I said, we're talking through the personal application of change. Now, remember what we discussed last week as far as like understanding the process of personal change. And once you guys see some of these same elements again, but really a little bit of these are universal when it comes to navigating and understanding change. One, there's this catalytic event for change that occurs, right? And so it could be something that is a big experience that you go through. It could be something that's a small. Really, you get to apply that, individually of how much you want to walk through a process of change. And so, in that, you have to begin this understanding of, as far as like if it's an error, okay, well, am I simply correcting an error? And it may even come down to beliefs, right? And so, am I willing to ask why this error keeps occurring, or is there been a change of beliefs about something that I've seen? And so there's this catalytic event. Once again, kind of bring this down into a understanding of even with salvation, is that salvation, the person that's trying to do good to earn their salvation, they're going through simply just trying to correct errors in their life. But really, whenever we understand salvation in Christ, it really becomes a change of beliefs for us that my way is no longer the way. It's to understand that it's God's way, because Jesus said he is the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by him. And that's a catalytic event for our life. Our life is transformed. Our heart is transformed the moment that our beliefs change of understanding that it's no longer us, right? That it's Christ. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But there's these catalytic events that come up. Well, along with that comes these questioning of governing values, questioning of my beliefs. Why do I believe that this is okay to keep doing this error? What keeps happening to bring about this error? What really needs to change in my life? And I begin to question these governing values. And then from that, we get into this development of an action strategy, right? Where I'm starting to map out things. I'm starting to implement, internalize, accept my responsibility. I'm starting to test new things. I'm starting to invent new action strategies. And with those action strategies, I want to act upon those strategies, and I want to see what the results are. I want to evaluate the consequences of those things, which leads into, am I seeing that true change is evident in my life? Am I seeing this transformation happen? And then as well, am I receiving the feedback that's coming? So it could be this continuous process that we're walking through as we're personally applying change. If the problem still exists, why? Why is this still occurring, right? Is there something that's longer, that's drawn out, that needs to occur in this? So once again, just kind of wanted to bring us back to understanding this, but I want to walk through specifically this action strategy part of things, of how that applies to us individually. Well, what does this look like? Well, setting goals for change is when I come into mapping this. Setting goals has three characteristics. Now, you can use SMART that's out there, but I like to use AIM, kind of this hitting of a target. I like to look at, setting a goal that's something that's achievable. As beginning to map change for your life, you need to see the goals that are realistic for yourself, right? It's understanding that small goals lead to greater change. It's a small step. And as you're doing those small steps, there's momentum and goal setting. That's huge, right? So I want to see that the things that I'm setting in my life, if I'm going to apply change, really personally apply, yeah, there can be these big momentous moments that occur, and you can see those things that need to occur immediately. But really, some of the implementing of changes is these small steps that I'm doing, and it's building momentum in my life. And so momentum and goal setting is huge. It needs to be inspirational though, and don't let your goals be so small, however, that you set the bar too low. Right? I could say, hey, I want to lose a pound today. Well, I could sneeze and lose a pound, it feels like sometimes. But if I want to really say, you know what, hey, I want to lose 10 pounds, in a month or something like that, I'm going to take these small steps all along the way. They're going to help me to grow. But they need to be something inspirational. It needs to be something I can shoot for, I can go for. And then finally, our goals need to be measurables, because see, goals should lead to objectives, right? Really, my ultimate goal was to lose weight. The objective that it comes to is I want to lose 10 pounds, right? So objectives are those measurables, those metrics that we have in our lives that show our progress towards real change. I'm able to stand on a scale. I'm able to see what real change is occurring in my life. Well, after I map out what goals, what action strategies I need to take, I got to start internalizing, which means I start accepting responsibility. You see, responsibility is taking ownership of activities. It has to be personal before it can be transformational. What example we have of that? Acts 2:38, right? Peter just given this amazing sermon, laying out to the people, hey, they were the ones that crucified Christ, right? They were the ones that put him to death. They put to death the Messiah. I love what it says in Acts 2:38. They were cut to the heart and asked, what must we do? What happened where they were cut to the heart? They took responsibility. They started internalizing. Yeah, we were the ones that did that. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that we did that. What must we do to be saved? And so along with that, internalizing that responsibility is understand what obstacles are going to stand in the way of change, right? There are things that are in my control, things that are outside of my control. Now, we're really good at, blaming and complaining others in our life whenever things don't go the way that we want, right? I look at it and I say, well, it's because of that person. That's the reason that it happened, or that thing, that's the reason it happened, but really, whenever I understand those can be obstacles, I'm taking blame, I'm taking complaining out, right? And I accept the problems as realities. I accept the things that I'm able to control and say, these are the realities. These are the things that I'm able to control. I've got to be responsible for those things. Now, once again, I think it's important for us not to focus on our circumstances, but to look to the solutions. We're really good at sometimes just focusing on the circumstances. Woe was me, right? But I got to look to the solutions. What are the possibilities that are here? And so that's a part of internalizing, accepting responsibility. Well, then from that, I want to take some opportunities to succeed. I want to test some things. So we want to try something new often. We either commit too early or justify our actions too soon. So which can lead to, if we're not careful, to ineffective behavior and actions. So what's real testing look like? Well, testing looks for the opportunities, right? It's similar to a business testing a pilot product to see how it's going to meet customer demand. Same thing I need to try in my life, right? I don't have to be totally sold out at first. I want to test some things. I want to see where there's some opportunities for change to occur, right? But it gives me the freedom to be able to do that. What are the opportunities that exist around me? Where do I see that God's working in my life? Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? And I'm not, just being so flippant just to pass along those things. But before I become fully committed, I'm able to test these things. And so it's a proactive way of experiencing change. Now, this is rigor, it's practice, right? It's tough for us to sometimes walk through these things, but it's important for us if we're going to see real change to occur. But it helps us as well to avoid costly mistakes. It helps us see, are there other possible solutions that are out there? I've experienced this in my life of where, I've thought, what, well, kind of coming back to the weight loss thing. Okay, I've thought this is the kind of diet that I need to do, but really I need to test some of this, be like, well, no, maybe it's not that diet. Maybe it's this diet over here. I have to keep my eyes open to what are the best opportunities for me to have healthy change in my life. And it begins to answer the questions that you need. And so long, once I'm testing, now I'm going to start to invent. I'm going to start thinking outside the box. And so I'm going to really start to put some things into action once I start kind of saying, okay, I'm going to go down this solution here. So I think it's important to understand vision without implementation is hallucination. We can have great grand ideas, right? We have these vision of grandeur, that are before us. But if I'm not implementing these things, if I'm never taking a step to really put together not just strategies, but really try to live out those steps, right? Vision without implementation is hallucination. We become really good at just hallucinating these visions of grandeur without really trying to put them into place. Innovation without implementation leads nowhere, right? So if I'm really wanting to be innovative and try some things, think outside the box on some things, right? But if I never do it, again, I'm not going anywhere. All I'm doing is just visualizing, and that's it. Inventing is the process of personal evaluation of what you need to institute change. What are the real action strategies I need to do? So it's evaluation of your personal skills, the cost of your time, your talents, your treasures, the accountability structures that are in place. Right? Who's coming along? What resources are available to me? Right? How are these things going to help me to invent new strategies, to implement these new strategies? And it may even require us to sometimes consider new solutions that are outside of where we often reside. So that's why I say sometimes it may be thinking outside the box. Okay, we want to see this goal applied in our life, and we've evaluated our skills, our costs, accountability, resources that are there. And sometimes it may lead us to think, well, is there a brand new option that's out here that I'm just not even thinking about? Is visually going to reach this process of where we're going to act upon. We're going to really act upon it. This is our commitment to the process. We're starting to produce off of this. And it's this question, am I going to be the chicken or the pig? You might say, what is that talking about? You think about in breakfast, right? Whenever we come to the breakfast table, we have elements of a chicken that's there. We have elements of a pig. Now, the chicken just gave a part of itself, but the pig made a sacrifice for that to occur. So you have to think about that. Am I really committed to this process? Am I just giving a part of myself to this, or am I becoming a sacrifice? Am I being committed to this all the way through? So it moves from enthusiasm to implementation. It involves the entire self, right? Paul said, for I've been crucified with Christ. It's no longer I who lives, but it's Christ who lives in me. So, Paul looked at, I'm not going to be a chicken in this. I'm not just giving you a little bit of myself. I'm going to be a sacrifice. He would also say in Romans, right? Be a living sacrifice. We begin to act out on what you've planned. You have the measures in place to measure. You see where momentum leads, and you let it roll. That means we begin to trust God with the results. We simply act upon the plan that's put in front of us. A lot of plans have been made. Very few have been acted upon in real life. And then we reach this point of where we study. We analyze and we react. We analyze the results of our actions, right? So it moves to this evaluation of consequences. It helps me to see the results of embedded change, right? I've committed myself to something that's embedded in my life, and I'm seeing the results of this occur in my life. But it helps me also see what adjustments that need to be made so I'm able to remain true to my values. And I'm able to receive some real feedback, right? I'm able to have some conversations along the way. So let me just give us some final thoughts, some final, conclusions as we're thinking about the course overall, but also, just to this process of application of change. Personal change in your life should be seen as an opportunity to succeed rather than an opportunity for failure. Now, this isn't just like happy-go-lucky positive thinking or anything like that. We really have to see it's an opportunity for excellence, Christian excellence in our life. And with excellence comes success, right? And so if we're looking at these opportunities that of personal change in our life, I'm going to just fail again. I'm going to just fail again. That's not living in a victorious life. That's not living a spirit-filled life that God's called you to live. No, you're called to live an opportunity, to see the opportunities for success, to have a vision for that. Now, success doesn't mean more money, more wealth, or anything like that, more health, or anything at all. Success is that I'm living out my life in excellence for the Lord. It's for His glory, not for mine. So let me be clear about that. Personal change in your life should be seen as an opportunity to succeed, to grow in, and to see what God has called me to be, to live out my full potential in Him, rather than an opportunity for failure. Personal change always moves from the inside to out, right? If I'm trying to just change my behavior, I want to tell you guys, you're gonna mess up time and time again, right? But if my heart is in it, if I'm really seated in that, and it's a part of my motivations and everything, then it's going to move from the inside to out. And then personal change then becomes a lifestyle towards Christ likeness. As I'm putting off these things in my life that are hindering change, putting off these things in my life that are pushing me back from Christ likeness, and I'm putting on more of Christ in my life, I'm becoming committed to this process of growing into Him more and more. That's a lifestyle towards Christ likeness. And that's what the Lord wants for your life more than anything else. And where you get done with your life through the processes of change that you've experienced in your life, because they're going to happen, right? That you're going to be greeted by the Lord. And He's going to say, well done, good and faithful servant. That's what we're living for, the glory of His name in our life, not our name. And so I hope that this has been encouraging to you as you just think through these things. I hope that this whole course has just helped you just to take maybe one step further along and just growing in change. And always know that I'm here for you, here to help you out in this. And I look forward as we continue to interact and just grow and just understanding more and more of what it is to just lead in change in our lives. So God bless you guys, and look forward to connecting with you more in different courses. Talk to you soon.